today. If you look around you, you can see that so many games mean so much to so many people. But have you ever asked the question, why is that? Well, I'll say the answer is quite simple, really. They're fun. Games are fun. We have fun with friends, fun with family, maybe even lovers if we're lucky enough. Video games are important to everyone that plays them because they provide so much entertainment, they form bonds, and so much more that I can't be bothered to list. With this being said, it also begs the question, what's it like to actually make one of these beautiful pieces of art? What? Don't look at me. Look, man, I only spent 7 hours making a glorified Roblox game for a class when I literally didn't need to whatsoever. I wouldn't even classify it as a game, TBH. So why did I even make it? Why? Well, I'm insane, that's why. I would much rather be in my room and write spaghetti code for 7 hours straight than go out there into the scary real world, you know? Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to the question at hand. Why did I make this whole video in the first place? Well, there was a lot more thought process that got put into the glorified Roblox game than meets the eye. And I wanted to show off this thought process without actually sharing the game. One, because I did it on the wrong version of Unity, and two, because just uploading the damn thing would have took, like, what I would have graduated college by the time I finished. So, now with the exposition out of the way, we can take a deep dive in what I like to call basic inspiration. A lot of games come from somewhere, right? Team Fortress 2 came from Quake, Overwatch from Team Fortress 2, COD from World War II, etc, etc. This is how almost all human art is made, really. It's like ethical stealing. Not my game, though. You know how I got my idea for this game? Well, it was through a process I like to call otherwise known as mashing my head into my keyboard and record what happens. Essentially what I do is I select random things on screen, hold right click, move my mouse around, and just watch what happens. Like, imagine a little kid that took a piece of paper and a pencil, started scribbling, and made the Mona Lisa with that. I'm not necessarily comparing my game to the Mona Lisa, but like, come on. Look how pretty he is. Look at him. Look at him. This game really reminded me of those old, very bad Roblox games I used to make. Generally, the concept is the same. You get dropped into a world with very little direction of what to do, and you kind of just find stuff and figure out what to do along the way. One of the major differences between this and my old Roblox games is they're not heavily monetized. So maybe you could say my Roblox experience inspired this game. But I would disagree with you, and I would say no. And then I would leave the conversation because you are a weirdo and a freak for saying that. So please, you are a freak, an absolute weirdo. Secrets. What surprised me about playtesting is that almost no one found the secrets hidden around the map. This may be due to the map looking like the moon, but I don't count that, cause like, nah, you know? Now, just for some fun, I'll show you the secrets the large majority of players miss. Number 1. Whatever the hell this is. To be honest here, I only included this because I made it on Halloween. Ooh, spooky! But I think it's pretty damn funny, not gonna lie. Like, seriously, it's an old man screaming like an old man. How is that not funny? Number 2. The man with no eyes. He has a funny story to him. Originally, this game was going to be in third person, but I quickly scrapped that idea because it looked dumb. However, I didn't just want to leave him like that. You know, he's my bro, you know what I'm saying? He's my day one ride or die, you know what I'm saying? Cause always been there for me. So I chose for him to live on, with an eye for a torso, and to be forever suspended in a very uncomfortable looking pose. I'll never forget you, bro. Number 3. The milk. I couldn't decide whether to put this in this category or in the upcoming content category, but I decided to put it here because I'm cool like that, you know. I was planning to hide a milk carton underneath the map. Now, people of culture will know this is a reference to the amazing game dev Danny. You've definitely seen at least one of his games before.
Yes! First round win! He's the gaming warlord. He won first.
And he talks about the Unity particle system a lot. Sadly, I couldn't follow through with this idea because of a lack of time, and also because I thought of it after I showed everyone the project. So all you gamers out there better drink your milk, smash that like button, and wishlist Carlson on Steam now! Number 3. The Easter egg. This is an Easter egg. An Easter egg is a message, image, or feature hidden in software, a video game, a film, or another, usually electronic medium. The term used in this manner was coined around 1979 by Steve Wright, the then director of software development in the Atari Consumer Division, to describe a hidden image in the Atari video game adventure, in reference to an Easter egg hunt. The earliest known video game Easter egg is in the 1973 video game Moonlander, in which the player tries to land a lunar module on the moon. If the player opts to fly the module horizontally through several of the game's screens, they encounter a McDonald's restaurant, and if they land next to it, the astronaut will visit it instead of standing next to the ship. The earliest known Easter egg in software in general is one placed in the make command for PDP-6/PDB-10 computers sometime in October 1967 to October 1968. Wherein, if the user attempts to create a file named love by typing make love, the program responds not war before proceeding. Bugs. This will by far be the shortest section, just because y'all already know how great of a coder I am. You know? This project kept me up like twice till almost 3 a.m., which is not nice when I need to wake up at 6 a.m. Like, seriously, what even is this? How does this even happen? And this was super annoying. A lot of these bugs were just setbacks, mere obstacles in my end goal. I didn't even let my sleep schedule let that get in the way of resolving these bugs. Like, who even needs sleep? I don't need sleep. 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 Content. Believe it or not, I had many other ideas that just did not make the final cut of this game. As you know, our buddy here Eric is one of them. Goddamn useless, good for nothing, ugly, disgusting, heinous, revolting, repulsive, vile, sickening. Friend! He's one of our friends. One of the other ideas I originally had was to make this game subtly an FPS. So you could go into a room, then boom, you got a gun and you have to kill zombies to survive now. That is why the skeleton guy is a skeleton. He was going to be a zombie type. But then I remembered this is an assignment for school. So I couldn't take a year on this, even though I was willing to. But I had to scale back. Go back to reality. I was sitting there on my Spider-Man chair, realizing at 1:43 a.m. that I sadly could not make a AAA game in my room in 30 minutes. I decided then to keep it simple. I call it the synchronized S's. Short, simple, ᴅᴇsɪឡ. Another old remnant of these FPS times are the low polygon model prefabs I imported. I removed them because obviously I wasn't going to do the FPS part anymore, so duh. But also because I felt like it just didn't look right. There's nothing low poly in the game already, so to have a low poly weapon just wouldn't sit right with me. It would sit left instead. The final piece of cut content that I think is interesting enough to talk about is the map was going to be much bigger at one point, having elaborate hospitals and multiple areas for jump scares, also multiple buildings and maybe like a skyscraper section. However, again, this got cut because of scope. Sucks that I'm not a AAA game company, not gonna lie. I'm just some guy in his room for way too long periods of time. However, I do what I can with the resources I have. Remember, all this cut content was cut for a reason. It's totally possible that if all of it was added to the game, it would be a busy mess, so I'm glad I opted to not include it, yet still had a basic enough vision to go off of. It's totally possible that if all of it was added to the game would be a busy mess, a conglomeration of just weird mechanics and tones and aspects that don't really fit like that, like almost like there's a whole game of just random stuff put together that doesn't really make sense. It's obviously just made for profit and corporatization and commercializing and money, appease the masses. Oh yeah, I love money. Oh my god, if only there was a game like that. But I'm getting sidetracked again. This is not about the current state of modern video games, right? This is about my video game. So I'm glad I still had a very basic vision for my game to go off of and seek lore. Yes, yes, this game does in fact have lore. I know, I may have said in the past, it's not necessary, blah 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 blah. Story in games is not necessary, blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay, I said that, alright, I did. But you know what? It's fun. It's fun. Sue me, crucify me, take my head, chop it off, put it on a pedestal in your house, and post it on Instagram for all your famous bodies to look at or whatever. But it is fun. I like writing lore. So, while you've been watching the background footage of me playtesting and adding random stuff, you've probably noticed these the guy that you're actually finding is a Skeleton King. He is wanted in numerous regions because of a rumor that he was the first ever person to get chickenpox and spread it to everybody else. Once you actually find him, then kidnap him, then take him to the Queen of Kings, the queen doesn't know he's a skeleton until you actually take him to her. Then she finally realizes he doesn't have any skin because he's a skeleton. So they kill him anyway for wasting their time. You, the player, get paid very handsomely. But who are you? Who are you playing as? Who are you controlling? Well, you are secretly an all-knowing being with the power to control the universe any way you wish. Yet you still choose to kidnap an innocent skeleton. Nice one. Now I know I'm probably going to get this question, so I might as well answer it now. If you're this all-powerful being, why are you even doing this? Why is this even something that you are wasting your infinite time on? Well, the answer to this is actually quite simple. It's because you're bored. You are a bored, powerful, almighty being, and you just want to have a little bit of fun, okay? There's nothing wrong in kidnapping and killing innocent people because you're bored. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's not like it's illegal or something. That would be dumb, right? Like, come on, man. Sheesh. Get a hold of yourselves. For real. On God. Jeez Louise, guys. So, that's going to be it. I hope this dev commentary, 1, gets a high enough grade so that I can pass this class, and 2, gives you a little bit of insight to my thought process and truly making a game, again, even though this is really not even a game, I feel as if this was just a test run. If I had the willpower, the actual willpower, to sit down and make a game. The only question is, do you have that willpower? And I know the answer to that question. It's no. Like, let's be honest here. Let's be honest. Let's all be honest with ourselves here. No one here actually wants to do anything. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I don't want to do anything either. That's why I do it. I don't do it because I want to, even though I do. I do it because I need to, even though I also want to. It is complicated. It is very complicated. And that's the nature of game design. You know? We have developers out here spending years, like years, finding the perfect recipe for games. And then, like, it kind of just ends up crap. There's a lot of examples of great, almost 10 out of 10 game design, never before seen. Oh my god, this is so good. And then there's also examples of like bad game design, like, oh, okay, this is obviously just made to meet the status quo of the company's quota, right? Like I've said, when designing a game, don't worry about stuff. I know that sounds kind of weird, but bear with me here. When you're making a game, there's 3 different end results. The game is good, the game is bad, and the game is forgettable. What you should be doing, always, is making sure that your game is either, well, not making sure, but you want your game to at least, at minimum, be bad. A bad game will always be better than a forgettable game. Sometimes there are bad games that are forgettable, and sometimes there are forgettable games that are not bad. You want to make sure that your game, the one that you're designing, leaves an impact. Obviously, always strive for it to be a good impact. Do not strive for it to be a bad impact. But at minimum, make sure that your game is good, and if it's not good, if it's bad, that's okay. We all make mistakes sometimes. Maybe we need to throw another ball at the wall, seeing if it'll stick. But what you want to make sure to do is you want to make sure that your game is not forgettable. A bad game you could learn from. A good game you can learn from. A bad game you could think about. You could think about why it's bad. You could think about what makes it bad. You could think about how bad is it. A good game, you can always ask those exact same questions. Why is this game good? What makes it good? Why do I enjoy this game so much? However, with a forgettable game, there is nothing to be learned. With a forgettable game, there is no thought process to have about the game because you forgot it. So, this section, essentially here, is I'm just telling you, game design is a lot more than writing code or putting Nicki Minaj in your game or doing the gritty real hard, or even mechanics, even basic game mechanics. It's actually much more than that. It's art. This is a form of art. And bad art can be good. Good art can be bad. But one thing it cannot be is gettable. Now I'm terrible with conclusions, so I'm just gonna cut myself off.